We just spent 11 days exploring Turkey.
Is it somewhere that we'd like to return? Find out in this edition of Unhurried Adventurers.
Roll it!
Unhurried adventurers, come roll with us.
Welcome back, or if you're new to our channel, welcome to Unhurried Adventurers. We are traveling the world for the next 6 years to find our forever home.
But in between our long-term stays, we're doing what we're calling slow travel stopovers. And in this edition, we're going to be talking about our 11 days in Turkey. And we visited 3 different parts of Turkey. We visited Cappadocia, we visited Fethiye on the coast, and we visited Istanbul. And so let's get started by talking about our time in Cappadocia. Our adventure in Cappadocia started just before sunrise. We were picked up from our hotel for a hot air balloon ride. As the sun began to rise, approximately 165 balloons filled the sky, creating one of the most iconic scenes in all of Turkey. Floating above the valleys and rock formations was easily one of the highlights of our entire trip. Pricing can vary a lot. Our hotel was able to get us a deal for €300, about $350 US. We saw prices for far more as we walked around town. We were there at the beginning of high season, so prices in the off-season can be lower. If a balloon ride isn't in your budget, you can also head to the observation hill in Love Valley before sunrise and watch the balloons fly. Whether you opt for a balloon ride or just to go watch, seeing all the balloons fill the air is something you absolutely cannot miss in Cappadocia. For us, it will certainly be one of those travel memories we will never forget. We capped it off with some bubbly.
Later that day, we headed to a viewpoint overlooking Gourmet for sunset. As the light faded, the valleys and fairy chimneys glowed in shades of orange and gold. For a taste of Turkish culture, we attended a whirling dervish ceremony held inside a cave. The spiritual performance, accompanied by traditional music, was both fascinating and peaceful, making it one of the most memorable cultural experiences of our visit.
For our adventure, we based ourselves in the town of Gourmet, surrounded by some of the most unique landscapes we've ever seen anywhere in the world. We explored some of Cappadocia's most famous natural attractions, including the fairy chimneys and the nearby Pigeon Valley. The unusual rock formations shaped by millions of years of volcanic activity and erosion made this region look almost otherworldly. We also descended into one of Cappadocia's underground cities. Walking through the narrow tunnels and cramped chambers gave us a glimpse into how entire communities once lived beneath the surface to escape invading armies and survive during dangerous times. But if you're claustrophobic, this may not be the excursion for you. One of our favorite meals in Cappadocia was the Testi Kebab, a famous chicken dish cooked in a clay pot and opened up right at your table. We also attended a pottery demonstration, and Tessa even gave it a try.
One of the most unusual stops during our time in Cappadocia was Love Valley. The valley is known for its distinctive rock formations that have earned it a rather humorous nickname and made it one of the area's most photographed locations. We'll leave the nickname up to your imagination. After several unforgettable days exploring Cappadocia, it was easy to understand why this region is considered one of Turkey's most extraordinary destinations.
After Cappadocia, we headed south to the beautiful coastal town of Fethiye. Our first experience was an unforgettable boat cruise from Aludeniz. Throughout the day, we sailed along the stunning turquoise coastline, stopping at secluded coves and crystal clear swimming spots that have made this stretch of Turkey's Mediterranean coast famous around the world. If you're staying in the area, we definitely recommend taking a boat excursion of some sort. Back in Fethiye, we spent our evenings strolling along the marina, watching the boats come and go while enjoying the relaxed atmosphere of the waterfront. One of our favorite discoveries was Kirikli Et restaurant.
The highlight of our time in Fethiye was paragliding. This was Dwayne's second time making this flight, but it was my first. I'll have to admit, I started to get nervous as we just kept driving up the mountain to the launch point. But after launching from high above the coast and soaring over the mountains, beaches, and brilliant blue water below, I was so glad I did it. The views were simply spectacular. At one point, our pilots got us so close to each other, I almost sat on Dwayne's parachute. That was a harrowing moment, but our pilots had done this for 15 years and said they did that all the time with couples. Our adventure ended with a smooth landing right next to the beach, bringing an unforgettable experience to a perfect finish.
Next, it was on to Istanbul. We got there late in the day, so we'd watch the sunset from the Galata Bridge. And then headed up to the Galata Tower to see it at night. The next day, we booked a free walking tour of the Sultanahmet area. The Hagia Sophia was under construction, so we decided it wasn't worth the 30 euros to go inside. We saw the Blue Mosque from the outside, but would return later to go inside. We did walk around the spice market.
After our walking tour, we hopped on a ferry to the Asian side of Istanbul for a delicious lunch in the Katakoy Food District. Later, we headed back to visit both the Blue Mosque and the equally as beautiful and far less crowded Süleymaniye Mosque. With views of the Golden Horn. In the evening, we strolled up to Taksim Square. Stopping for a delicious Iskender kebab. And then getting some ice cream with a splash of entertainment. The ice cream is a bit pricey because you're paying for the show too.
The next day, after some delicious Turkish eggs at Mum's restaurant, we headed to Dolmabahce Palace. This is the palace that ended up bankrupting the Ottoman Empire. It was built when the Sultan thought that Istanbul needed a palace to rival those of Europe. It was certainly very ornate both in the palace and the attached harem. With beautiful views over the water, they certainly achieved building a palace that rivaled Europe, even if it was to their own demise. We then spent a little bit of time at the Grand Bazaar, although by this time we were a little bit tired of going to markets.
We wrapped up our time in Istanbul with an evening dinner cruise on the Bosphorus. Complete with several kinds of dancing, including a whirling dervish show, belly dancing, and traditional folk dancing. But most impressive were the beautiful nighttime views of Istanbul from the water. Finally, before catching our flight to our next adventure in the 5 stands, we had to stop and get the famous fish wrap that no one should leave Istanbul without trying. It was a great way to cap off our time in Istanbul. So there you have it. Our time in Turkey is done, and we are ranking each of our slow travel stopovers according to the scale on the screen.
And we are giving Turkey an 8.5, meaning we had a great time and would definitely return. I had already been to Istanbul and Fethiye once, but I would not hesitate to go back to both of them again. I think Cappadocia for me would be one and done. I'm really glad we did it. I'm especially glad we did the balloon ride, but it was quite a bit more expensive than our other two stops. And I feel like I've seen it now, so I don't have a burning desire to go back there. Instead, I would explore other parts of Turkey, like Antalya or something like that. I would definitely like to see more of Turkey.
And eat more of the food there.
For sure.
If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and pass it along to your friends so that they can enjoy some tips about our future upcoming adventures and travels.
We've got some exciting stuff coming up. We're actually in Tajikistan right now, and we're visiting all 5 stands, and we'll be coming out with a series very soon of our time in the 5 stands. So until next time, we'll see you on Unhurried Adventurers.
Where is Bob? I hope you look thorough. Like and comment if you spotted Bob the Burro.
We just spent 11 days exploring Turkey.
But is it somewhere we were...
We just spent 11 days exploring Turkey.
Is it somewhere that we were...
So there you have it. Our time in Turkey is complete, and we are ranking each of our slow travel stays. So there you have it. Our time